This is Mouth Media Network. Amplify and connect.
You know that wonderful, euphoric feeling you get when you have a belly laugh, and your whole body feels wonderful, endorphins are released, and you forget every care in the world, and for just a moment, everything is perfect, and you understand love. Don't expect any of that here. This is Funny People Talking.
Hi guys, my name is Katsura Sunshine. Please call me Sunshine. I am a traditional Japanese Rakugo comic storyteller, and I would rather be eating the chopsticks that came with the sushi than be listening to funny people talking.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Funny People Talking. It's been forever since we've had Danielle in the studio, and
Hi.
It's actually been forever since we've.
I'm so excited.
She couldn't wait. She's literally got her hands over her face. It's almost like, like when Superstar.
Molly Shannon when
Molly
she's
Shannon,
like
when she smells her
fingers. That's kind of what I look like right now.
Anyway, welcome everybody back to the show. We haven't been with you for a while because we've been living life and doing business, and it's just been tough to get us all together. Here we all are in the studio.
Yay.
I'm Mark Rako. That's Danielle Beckman, my incredible co-host. I've missed you, Danielle. I literally haven't seen you in like 3 or 4 months.
I know,
which
I
is
missed
so
you.
Weird. And of course, here, Elsie back in the studio. Elsie, I'm so happy to see you, believe it or not, as well.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Elsie's got her purple. Nothing's changed.
She's got her
Thank
she's got her purple on.
goodness.
And I should tell you that our guest came in wearing none other than a purple top hat of sorts. And
Yes.
Elsie,
Asked to have it.
yeah, she
I said,
must have
I
it.
literally just said, can I have it? I didn't say, hi, I'm Elsie. I didn't introduce it, nothing. Just said, whose is this? Can I have it?
She did. She literally did that. So it was very nice. Anyway, great to have you all here. Also in the studio with us, adorned in his official kimono, is our good friend, our new friend, Katsura Sunshine. He is a Rakugo storyteller. I don't know if I said that right, but it's a traditional Japanese comic storyteller. He has a show off Broadway, which is called what, Sunshine?
The show is called Katsura Sunshine's Rakugo.
There you go. Right now it's in hiatus because of the blasted coronavirus.
Yes.
But good to keep people and yourself safer. So, the plan now is to resume in June 2020.
June 20th is the tentative start date
That's
again. And we've been
fantastic.
extended to Labor Day.
We are going to find all about it in a bit.
Sure.
But glad to have you here. It took a lot of times. for us to schedule this.
Yeah,
But
I'm
we
sorry about
finally-
that.
No, it's
that,
okay.
that went by
We
me. I'm
made-
not such a busy guy. I don't know what happened.
We made it work. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. This is a way to
Cheers.
build up expectation. I'm very excited.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, we have not been together in forever. We've got a great show ahead. We're going to catch up a bit. I've got yet another Subway story.
I'm sure they're getting, more robust as the days go by.
It's crazy. I actually have like 2 or 3 of them like stacked up here.
I
We're going
wonder
to tell
what
all of them now,
people who don't ride the subway think about these little snippets.
but I don't know.
Like, are they pointing and laughing, or are they, wanting to visit New York? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't care.
I'm just gonna tell it.
I live in my life. I'm just being me.
Yes, do it. It's 2020. That's what we're all about.
We're going to catch up a little bit. Not seeing Danielle for a while. I imagine a couple things have happened in her life. So maybe
Just
we'll
a
hear
few.
something about that and catch up with Elsie. We're also, as usual, going to play an improv game. Not a brand new one today. We're going to play one of our goodies, our oldies. And then we'll get all into Sunshine's biz and find out what he's all about. And I'm sure it'll be very entertaining, very interesting, and maybe surprising. I don't know. And then I'm so excited. The first item show food we've had in a really long time.
Wow.
Elsie's got that for us. I actually literally have no idea what it is. I can't wait to see what she's starting us off with.
I hear food in 2020 is different than 2019, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I mean, on Funny People Talking, because I haven't been on a show in 2020 yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean food in general. I just meant end of show food.
I actually thought you meant food in general. It's all changed. It's all impossible. Everything's made of impossible. Impossible burger.
Everything you thought was possible is now impossible.
Everything's
It's all Soylent Green.
impossible. I'm sorry, what else?
Soylent Green.
It's all Soylent Green.
Soylent Green. Oh.
All right. Anyway, so before we kick off the show proper, I do have a question for you, Danielle.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I really don't understand the face tattoo.
Okay. What do you not get?
I literally don't understand it. It's some sort of scribble.
Yeah, it's not in a language you know, Mark.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
I want to know what language, what it says, why, and why in the world you would go all Mike Tyson on all of us.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's temporary. It only lasts 1 year. Okay. So after a year, it washes off.
Oh my gosh. Aren't you getting married this year?
Yeah, I got it for the wedding.
Oh, so it's like a henna. It's sort of it's like your way of doing a henna,
yes.
henna art, right?
So what you're seeing is ancient Elven. So it's like an Elvish text.
Okay.
Because you know all about my character in Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
So I wanted to literally bring her essence into this year. And so I just did some under the eye, above the eyebrow tats. You'll see a little bit on my neck.
Yeah.
I think I'm into it.
You look hot. That's all.
Oh, thank you.
Is this hidden right now?
Oh, no.
I can't see these
you
tattoos.
see them?
See,
No.
see it? It's
Oh,
all
yeah.
over her face.
So
Are you serious?
maybe to Sunshine they look more like freckles, but no, they're here. And what it says under my eye is literally, it says on the right one, it says under, and the left one, it says eye. And then above, it says above eyebrow. So it's just really literal, but it looks cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's your body. It's your decision.
Thank you. It is my
your body. Your
body.
choice.
It is
You
my
know?
decision. And my mom doesn't know yet. So surprise.
Oh,
Mom.
hey, Mom. There you go. That ought to be interesting. What about Timothy?
Oh, no,
Your
he
fiance.
knows. He came with me to get it.
Oh, wow. Did
Yeah,
he
you
help
didn't
design
ask
it?
about his tattoos. He has dwarvish
Well, he's not
lettering.
here, so I didn't know yet.
Oh, yeah, no, he has dwarvish lettering all on his
So you have Elvish, he has
jawline.
dwarvish.
Yes, we're
On
all
his
out of
jawline.
ish.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it hurt a lot, he said.
well,
He
I bet.
screamed a lot, yeah.
Well,
He screamed.
Those dwarves, they're screamers.
Oh, no, they really are. Their dwarves are really into forging and making things like blacksmithing. They're makers, those dwarves.
Ah, okay. You've lost me. So, Elsie, do you
Well,
see
this
her
is why I'm a
tattoo?
nerd.
That's right. Speaking of
Yeah,
nerd tip, you have a nerd tip?
I do have a nerd
Yeah,
tip,
your
but
first
it's
one for 2020.
it's a little non-traditional from my normal nerd tips.
Okay.
It's not long. So this is actually a hygiene nerd tip
Sorry,
because
I have to tell you, I was so close to giving you a burn, but I pulled it back. But I think it's too funny not to say it. So when you said it's what did you say? It's different than my other ones?
Non-traditional.
I'm not sure that's to say. So it's interesting,
ouch.
but I didn't mean it. Your nerd tips are
But
great.
you still said it.
I had to say. I thought it was
No,
funny.
no, I get it, Mark.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
get it, Mark. So it's actually a hygiene nerd tip.
Oh,
It's actually like if you were a nerd trying to be cool during these COVID-19 times,
Oh.
you would go into the bathroom, and then when it's time to wash your hands, a very intense study was found. Just kidding, it's not intense. That you can do "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. You say all the lyrics to the song, and it's the perfect time to wash your hands. So it's like, look, if you had one shot or opportunity, like you're turning on the faucet, to seize everything you ever wanted in this moment, you're getting the soap. Would you capture it or just let it slip? yo, his palms are sweaty, his knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on his sweater already, mom's spaghetti. I could keep going.
Yes.
I know the whole thing. Anyway, but see, that's the cool side of me. So anyway, you give yourself a little hand massage, you do the whole thing, and like everyone in the bathroom with you is gonna think you're really cool.
Oh, so all the other ones that are like staying alive,
Well,
or
some
happy
are
birthday.
like happy birthday.
Those are the other ones that
those
people say
are
you're supposed
those
to do.
are like seriously nerdy, you know? So like what I'm trying to give in this nerd tip is like a little like, you know, bump up in your street cred hand wash.
And besides, isn't staying alive for chest compressions?
Yeah, that too. But I've also seen it for the hand washing thing.
Jeez.
Yeah, so don't confuse people.
I won't.
And so just so you all know, by the time you get to snap back to reality, oh, there goes gravity, you should be drying your hands. Okay. So do a little check-in, see where you're at.
That's right. So
Slim Shady.
So for all you grandmas out there, just so you know, when it gets to snap back reality or whatever, that's the point. You have to dry your hands. So just keep that in mind. Because you know what we're talking about right now.
That song came out a long time ago. Some
That's
people
true.
might be grandmas now that didn't
Fair
used
enough.
to be grandmas.
Fair enough.
I mean, okay.
So, no, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you very
thanks so much,
Yay! Well, it was interesting. All right, Elsie, would you tell me to start the show, please?
Start the show.
All right.
From the Mouth Media Network studios in New York City, this is Funny People Talking with Mark Rako, Danielle Beckman, and Elsie.
All right, everybody, we're back with Funny People Talking. We're back here with Katsura Sunshine, who we will henceforth refer to as Sunshine, because he's given us permission to do as such. So glad you're here. So before I get into any subway stories or anything like that, catch up.
Mustard.
Mustard.
Mayo.
Oh, ketchup, mustard. Oh, Elsie, you're sharp.
Thanks.
Elsie,
Like a knife.
has anything been so? Just quickly on the coronavirus, put you on the spot a little bit.
You want a story?
Sure.
All right. So I was pitching a podcasting class at a school, like as an after-school program.
Okay.
Because, you know, making kids, you know, they're into tech and stuff.
It's a good idea.
I think it is a great idea.
So I was going to this school and I was walking by the classrooms, and these kids were all wearing the masks and stuff on their foreheads and their chins. Not so effective. I don't know what their parents are giving them though for. Yeah, one had on literally on their, and one had them on their chin. And then there was another kid that I was observing that took the mask off so he could cough into his hand and then put it back on.
Oh, good.
Oh my God! So there was no instruction
So
that came with this.
yeah, the parents are just saying wear it, but the kids don't understand it, or they're not given instruction or whatever. So it's just basically useless spending money and making landfill, and they're mostly not wanting to buy a bunch, from what I understand. So the kids are just wearing the same mask every day,
Right.
which also does no good.
Yeah, it does no
So
good.
yeah, America.
Right.
America.
It's that's kind of a metaphor for the whole situation though right now, just that one little classroom.
Yep.
Yeah, you need more education.
Yeah.
So, oh, by the way, speaking of like knowledge, like people having information they're supposed to have, this just reminded me. When Elsie and I got together the last time we recorded, we didn't think to tell this story.
Oh.
But I happened to have coffee with Elsie over the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of planning 2020 or something like that. As we were walking back from the coffee shop, we ran into this man on the sidewalk, this older man.
Oh right, yeah.
And this is true. And he started by asking us how to get somewhere, like directions or whatever.
Okay.
I think we told him, I don't know what happened, something like that, or we all bumped into him or some reason we got to
That's a good opening line.
And he started just talking and talking and talking. He clearly needed to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
it turns out, and please, Elsie, I beg you to chime in with any details you remember from this because you have way better memory than I do, honestly. But essentially what happened is this guy started telling us how he was a part of some sort of major, he's a scientist, had been a part of some sort of major research project related to hydrogen as an energy source or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world is absolute bunk in terms of what we're being told that there's, oh, I know what it was, climate change.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said what we're being told.
Climate change is what we're being told is so far off from the reality of it. And, first we're like, okay, crazy guy, whatever.
Yeah.
And he started talking, and the detail to which he started talking about this.
And naming names.
And naming names. And it started to be like, my gosh, this guy might actually be some important scientist.
Wow.
And what happened is he had a discovery that related to like hydrogen two-part or bihydrogen or something along those lines. I don't remember what it was. It's been so long. But the part that I really remember more than anything is that the inspiration, those movies where someone can't solve an equation and it bugs them and then they get an inspiration and they can solve it.
And it's something usually like so simple.
Exactly.
Yes, right in front of your nose.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
In his instance, a cat gave him the answer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
So
his cat.
It was his cat.
Goldie.
Goldie, was it? And he was on his bed at home, and like, everything was like the end of the world, and it was all going to fail and all stuff. And the cat somehow transmitted the information to him, like psychically,
Oh my
in
God.
a way.
It wasn't like that.
Wasn't? Okay,
No,
correct
but
me. Tell me.
What, did he just get inspiration from the cat?
The cat did something and it clicked. It was a trigger.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it knocked something over or rolled over?
Yeah, it was a
He never comes on his bed or something like that.
it was on his bed and it was a time issue.
Okay. So anyway,
It was an issue with the timing of how
So
it all
he
happened and how the cat, like a time continuum and a time travel kind of thing that
Yeah,
triggered
that's
this
what it was.
mathematical equation from watching the cat.
He said the cat time traveled. That's what it was.
That's
said the
how he
cat-
referred to it, so- but, yeah.
He insinuated the cat actually time traveled because he was
But it was
able-
more
he
mathematical.
had-
He was just calling it that for simplicity and giving it a name.
Oh, see, I got the impression he literally said that the cat time traveled, and he had proof of it. For
Do you
XYZ.
think it means like it time traveled from being on the floor till jumping on the bed and it was too fast?
No, it was like instantaneous to us, but clearly the cat had gone through some metamorphosis in the time the cat had traveled. And this led him to go, oh, well, if the cat traveled, then this is possible, XYZ. So this equation. So anyway,
Whoa.
so the guy is like, people want him to shut up.
Yeah.
How many people are there now?
Talking
mean?
about this?
No. Yeah, this guy, is he yelling?
No, it was
No,
just
no,
me and Elsie and
the
this
guy.
guy on a crowded street.
But who wants him to shut up?
No, I mean in
Like
like
they've gone to
government
his-
people, like want him to be quiet about this stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like go away, like they're gonna come kill
Like
me,
they
kind of
took his
thing. Like
paperwork and stuff.
Okay.
yeah, and he's just like, I'm not gonna be quiet about this.
Okay.
He's been trying to get heard out there, and I guess he's presented at like the UN before or something like that, and it's like this big deal. And
Yeah,
what
we
I got,
looked it all up.
we looked it up and found that this was a real person. Like that-
Okay.
Anyway, the long and the short of it is I wish I had I wish we had written it down right then because I could tell you the story and just go, oh my God. But it was
But then
so,
again, maybe it would be good that we're not being so
maybe,
specific.
I know.
Well,
be
we
honest.
should
Might
have him
endanger
on the show.
We,
I don't think
I
he'd
know,
do
I'm
it.
just kidding.
show?
I don't think he'd do it.
I don't think he'd do it.
He's probably not
It's true.
funny.
We really, even walking away from that, as much as we said, I think this is real, he also was 10% crazy, and I wasn't sure I wanted to share information with him enough to do
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Eccentric, maybe not.
Yeah.
So you have to have the
No,
show.
I'm saying in my mind.
remote location.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. What you're
Yeah,
saying.
there you
Change
go.
the title. Make it a pig instead of a chicken.
Funny piggle talking.
That's right. So anyway, that happened.
Wow.
That
So a
was-
movie hasn't been made about this guy yet.
Not that we know about.
Jeez.
So,
Or it
It's
has.
only a matter of time, isn't it?
speaking
Well,
of
Matt Damon's probably starring it right now.
of course,
He
of
stars
course.
as
He
every
everything.
genius.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy or different, I
Yeah.
have to tell you a Subway story.
Okay. The subway has been bonkers. Please.
It really
please
has.
tell us what's
So
happening.
there
Is this
was-
a regular corner of this program that you tell a Subway story? It
Not
seems
not
like-
not in structure.
officially.
Just I seem to have a lot of opportunities to notice things in the subway that or things that happen to me.
Right.
So I was sitting across from this man, a parent homeless guy on a train. I found out he was 68 years old, and he had an entire pizza that he was eating on the subway.
Okay.
But he
Good for
wasn't,
him.
but he wasn't eating it the way that you and I eat a pizza. He doesn't like have a slice and he's eating the slice. He's kind of taking all the toppings off of it,
Deconstructing
like
it.
I
deconstructing it
imagined
with his
that.
hands, right?
Okay.
He had a bike upside down, but it looked like the bike was a little worse for wear.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that some lady had given him the pizza, but he can't eat it without something to drink. Now I have a seltzer in my hand, and he said I'm trying to sell the bike. He said here's how fast this bike is. This bike is so fast. I started in Florida, and an hour later I was in New York. He said $20 for the bike. He said 19 for you. To me.
Oh, wow.
I said, why don't you clean it? And because it was really dirty, it had like mud all over it. He said, let them clean it. $20, $10 if you clean it yourself.
$10 if you clean it yourself. Wow.
So then he said, and then after all of this, he started asking me about my seltzer I had.
Had you already taken a sip?
Yeah, I was already drinking it on the train. And he goes, what is that? I said, seltzer. He says, what's that? I said, it's like water with carbonation in it, with bubbles in it. And he goes,
Bubbles.
oh. He said, how much did that cost you? I said, I don't know, a couple bucks. He goes, $2 for that?
For water?
Oh my God. So then on my way out, because I had to leave the train, he goes, can I have some of that? I said, I'm sorry, no, I've already drank. He says, well, can I have $2?
Can I have $2 because I want to go buy a seltzer? Oh my God. But I love the phrasing of, well, I need something to drink. I can't eat this pizza without something to drink.
I know.
Like it's just so. So what did you do, Mark? Did you give him $2?
No, sell the damn bike.
Yeah,
No, but I suggested if you clean the bike, he says much greater likelihood of selling it.
Right. You're like, let me give you some really like long-term tips for more upsell.
Yeah, teach him how to fish.
Yeah, let's do it.
So anyway,
Oh my God. You know what? This is there's a bubbly drink that I actually had last week that I want to see if any of you guys have had. It's called Recess.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
No.
None of you guys have
I've never heard of it.
Okay.
Good marketing.
So, well, gosh, I guess they're trying to be like all cool and stuff. I don't know.
Speaking of marketing, while you're looking it up, let me pad while you're trying to look it
Oh
up.
yeah, no.
Oh,
yeah.
did you find it? Did you find it?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I mean, I drank it. I know how it makes me feel.
Oh, does it have
But I want-
caffeine in it?
Right.
Is it an energy drink? Because I'm kind of against those.
Okay, so you're against energy drinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they're really bad for you.
I don't like energy drinks either. I completely agree.
By the way, I'm not in any way trying to tell you what to do.
No, it's not an energy drink.
Okay.
It says we canned a feeling, quote unquote. That's what the CEO
Slogan.
said. So it is a canned beverage containing CBD.
No.
So yes. Now, how do you feel about that, Mark?
No.
Well, I'm gonna Elsie, you're against CBD.
I don't know. No.
What's sorry, so the
CBD?
Canadian here?
So CBD is essentially, I'm probably not explaining it the proper way, but it stems from marijuana.
Cannabis.
From cannabis.
Yeah.
Sorry, from cannabis. It doesn't have the same qualities as like smoking pot or eating
Yeah,
pot
It
has.
doesn't have the THC.
It's
or
a
whatever.
part of the chemistry that's removed that gives you a relaxed feeling.
Right.
So, and no
Without-
hallucinogenics,
Right.
no THC, exactly. But so this has broad spectrum hemp oil, like 10 milligrams per can. And they have like pomegranate, and there's also like ginger in it. And it's a sparkly drink, and it kind of tastes like a beer mixed with an energy drink mixed with a LaCroix. Like that's what it tastes like. They advertise as if you're going, obviously it says calm, cool, collected. So the advertising is that you're going to feel focused, you're going to feel relaxed. And it was definitely different from, say, having a glass of wine or having a beer. It was just sort of this, I would say, very even feeling sensation. I've looked up, apparently, like some people have like 4 a day.
Wow.
I know. Isn't that nuts?
And this is legal, and it has been legal since.
Yeah, it's been around.
CBD is common.
Store.
Yeah, CBD.
Oh, okay.
So CBD, like for example, my future mother-in-law, she takes CBD. Oh, total pothead. No, not at all. But no, she takes CBD, and her arthritis has disappeared in a year.
Wow.
In her hands. Wow.
So with that in mind, I'll tell you, Elsie's totally against it, is what I'm reading from you, or not for you anyway.
I just wouldn't have it without knowing more or how it would react with myself, because I'm one of those people that they say 1 in 500 people will have an adverse reaction. I'm the one. Every time. Yeah.
So for me, I've never had marijuana in my life. I've never had an interest in it at all. And I've never taken any narcotic or drug or anything like that. But the more I've learned about CBD, because on this network, we have a lot of different shows on Mouth Media Network, and there's been a lot of conversations about it in different industries, everything from beauty to, wellness and all those sort of things. The more I learn about it, the more I go, this may not be a bad idea, especially because and by the way, it's not me advocating for it. I'm just explaining why I'm starting to be more open to the idea. I've not tried it at all. I've avoided it because it's something about being on this side of that line. Once you're over that line, you're not on this side of the line anymore, meaning the line of never trying anything connected with cannabis.
Oh, right.
And
yeah.
And so to me, but the more I'm learning about it, I mean, there's evidence that like our cells are designed to interact with those chemicals. And so it's actually pretty natural. We may be stuck on a social impact of it rather than it actually being bad for us. And I'm willing to drink alcohol. So I'm not against putting a substance in my body. In fact, alcohol may be worse. It's like a literal poison.
It is.
And so I'm starting to open my mind to a little bit and trying to separate it from the idea of like having a joint versus these chemicals.
See, but having a joint is different than this because that has THC in it.
Right. No, I get this. I'm saying, but what stopped me hasn't been the concern Elsie raised. For me, I'm saying what stopped me is I associated it with marijuana, with the THC and all that. So in my head,
I hear you.
So that's separating out a little bit. I know this is high comedy here, Sunshine, but
it's quite funny.
But
no, it's
very humorous.
Are you? If I can ask you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot at all, are you one who partakes? Are you one who quote clean living? Or what do you?
No, certainly not clean living. I love alcohol, but I don't smoke. I have tried marijuana many times and just don't like it that much, so I don't do it at all.
So if you've done it many times, how have you tried it many times? Have you had it many times? Tried it once and then had it a bunch of other times?
No, I mean in university when everybody else was just smoking up. I don't like smoking it. I recently tried the edible version and found that very satisfying. I had the best sleep of my life. So people that use it for insomnia, I could see how that would work.
Yeah, a lot of people do use
I'm glad I
CBD
didn't do it,
for those medical reasons. Yeah.
Before I went on stage, my friend who offered it to me said, "Do not do this before you have to do some show," because I was literally the muscles became way too relaxed to be pronouncing words and that kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would not have a recess either. I would not have one of these drinks before going on stage.
Before going on stage, right?
No.
Even that?
No, don't have one of these before because it chills you out and it focuses you. Yeah, So I found it has hemp extract, American ginseng, L-theanine, which is reduces stress with help from green tea, is what it says. And then Cassandra, which boosts immunity and promotes balance. This is what it looks like, just so you know. It's in these kind of like pastel color cans.
Now
so
that you show me
could
that,
try
I feel
one
like I've seen it. Yeah.
You've probably seen it. Maybe post show.
Post show.
But yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to think outside the box.
Yeah,
I don't know what's funny about it, other than I was pretty funny to myself after I had one.
Was it easier to make you laugh, or
No, I was very focused.
Right.
And I was I was just like doing some things, getting some things done. But the thing is, anyone can buy it. You don't need an ID to buy it. Like, it's not, it's not crazy.
That's kind of interesting to me.
I know.
You don't need an ID.
Know it.
So, my wife has gotten me into these. I've always been a big seltzer person. She's gotten me into these new flavored seltzers that you can get.
Spindrift.
No, I gave you one. Do you remember the name of it, Elsie? But they have.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Is it pellegrino?
I'll give you a hint.
They're called Hint.
Yeah.
Oh.
it's a good hint.
I thought it was
Oh,
pretty
isn't
good.
that just flavored water though?
Well, with seltzer, they have
They have a
flavored
new
water.
one.
They do.
They have flavored water and seltzer.
Oh my god, I'm excited.
And this one that she's been getting me that we've reordered more than once is basically ginger flavored water. So it's like a ginger ale, like a guilt-free ginger ale.
Oh my god, do you love it? You're obsessed.
I cannot tell you how many of these I drink.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I literally
That's so
bet I
good.
drink
Why is
3
it
to 4
guilt
of
free?
them a
What
day.
is the guilt with ginger ale? The sugar?
Yes, the sugar and ginger ale.
or depending on the ginger ale, the sugar or the corn syrup.
There are a
whatever.
lot of ginger ales that aren't real ginger too.
Right.
Yes, yeah, that's true. I have to give it to Ye Olde Pepsi. They have a really delicious.
Is that what they sell at the Renaissance Fair?
They
Ye Olde
do.
Pepsi?
They do. Ye Olde Pepsi has a sparkling water line called Bubbly, and I gotta give it to them. It's really good. It's like a LaCroix situation, but by Pepsi. And I was wondering, it's better. It might be better.
Maybe we should move on, eh?
A.
Sorry.
Yeah, speaking of I don't know this person you met on the subway.
Oh, you're back to that, huh?
Were they Canadian? I've never heard of seltzer until I moved to New York 2 years ago.
I don't know.
We don't say seltzer. Yeah, we don't say that.
What do you say?
Soda water or sparkling water.
Sparkling water.
One of those, whatever it is.
That's interesting. Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So maybe
he was Canadian.
that's not just a New York thing, right? Seltzer is an American thing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's American.
I grew up saying sparkling water in Southern California because everything is so sparkling.
But I agree it's an American thing because when I was in Sydney, Australia, I was looking for seltzer and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I don't remember what it was termed, but it was a terminology that I was not familiar with.
Oh, man, I should know this because I'm marrying into Australians. I should know this. I'll know it next time.
That's homework.
Is that right? Is Timothy's parents Australian?
No, it's his sisters lived there for 15 years now, and it's her husband and their 3 kids.
Okay. By the way, speaking of the subway, I have to tell you one more quickie story.
Yeah, I love it.
Subway related, sort of loosely. So remember I told that story about the guy who jumped the subway's turnstile,
Yes.
and then I threatened him, and
I do remember
because he didn't pay, and he left, and I was proud of myself. So there was another guy that waited till someone like opened the door, and then he came through, right?
Yeah.
But there were 2 cops standing right there, and they just pretty much like, okay, whatever.
Wow.
And they let him go. And I went to him and I said, excuse me, in a way, because, you get too upset at them, they're going to like not come at you sometimes.
Oh, yeah, you never
With
know.
all due respect to cops out there, I'm just saying that's the truth. You don't want to like take on the cops.
Right.
So like, what are you doing? And I went over, I said, excuse me, I was just wondering, that guy just came through and he didn't pay. And I pointed him out to you and they're like, so? I'm like, so why? And he said, and basically what they told me is they said, minors are allowed to come through for free. I thought it was just little kids, but it's all minors can come through
So
for
like
free.
17.
And I said, how do you know if someone's a minor?
Yeah.
He says, you don't. He says, I mean, obviously some people are very obvious. Like, obviously, I don't look like a miner. I might look like a miner in a coal mine, but I don't look like a miner. But
There you go.
but-
a nose miner.
Right.
Sorry, that's one of my
Sometimes
favorite
that's
lines
true.
from Mrs. Doubtfire.
So anyway, but this is what I was told is that it's I think it changed, Elsie. It recently
I'm
changed.
looking it up.
Okay, but I'm saying that's what they said.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
why
Up to a certain age, you're allowed to just hop the turnstiles. Is that how that works?
yes. And so I was like, well, he doesn't look like a minor to me, and and they go, well, there's no way to tell, and we can't really just stop them. They said, if you really care about this, you got to vote. So I found it very interesting that they were basically saying,
Wow.
if the politicians did this, we're powerless.
Wow.
Which was sad to me because they watched someone do it. It was clear he was not a minor to me. I can
Right.
tell how old if you're 17 versus 23. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're saying he should have been stopped and frisked for his ID, I guess.
But look, I happen to be one, and I'm not going to make a secret out of it. I don't believe in fair jumping. I think it's wrong. I understand some people may be desperate, homeless people, and in those cases, I'm not saying they deserve to come in free, but at a certain point, you just say, who's it hurting? But I don't believe that when I'm watching someone who clearly has $250 sneakers on and an iPhone 11 and nice clothes on, and they're goofing with their friends and they jump the turnstile because they think that they're going to be more threatening than the toll booth can take them on, and they get to ride something I have to pay for, I'm mad about that. That's why I care.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm going to be the get off my lawn guy for a moment, I guess, because not everyone may agree with that. I know there's some people that totally don't agree with that. And they're like, hey, if you get away with it, get away with it. Or no one should have to pay for the subway or
Right. There's
whatever.
lots of schools of thought.
And,
Yeah.
and my school of thought is either we all pay or we don't.
Right.
From a newcomer to New York,
Please.
having lived in Tokyo for 21 years.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think before they start enforcing payment,
Uh-huh.
they should fix that card thing. Like 1 out of 10 times I slide the card through, it finally lets me through. I've wanted to hop it so many times myself.
They're fixing it with the thing you do with your phone, which I don't know if that's fixing
Oh,
it or
yeah.
not, but
Yeah.
The touch one.
that's how they can know who you are.
Yeah. They got that in Tokyo 19 years ago.
I believe it. I believe it.
We
See,
always
what-
get stuff last.
When I was in, not to put you off any further here, Elsie, but when I was in Copenhagen, one of the things I noticed there, as I'm sure a lot of other countries, is there was a bit of an honor system, and
Yeah.
like you don't scan a card like that. You're just supposed. It's like the select buses here in
It's
New
like
York.
SBS.
and you just are supposed to have paid and have your card on you. And I really had the feeling people were being pretty honest about this, because when you trust people, they do things. When you don't trust them, they're going to test the limits. Anyway, Elsie, did you find something?
Yeah. The NYC subway guide says children under 44 inches can ride for free. That's as of April 2019.
It's a height.
So it's a height thing.
I think
44 inches, though.
I think it's been
What?
updated since then, but
I'm looking. I'm not finding anything more.
How
recent
many
than that.
inches is 44 inches? Like,
it's
oh, that's short.
3.5 feet.
Oh, that's short.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Elsie size.
It's like a gnome.
But I did a
She's not that
search
short.
for just the past year, and that's the most recent.
Wow. Well, this is going to take some further research, I believe.
And then it also says there's a proposal for full fare and half fare for kids.
Yeah. Try to enforce that one. That's going to be harder.
oh,
students.
what?
I know.
Yeah.
I can't
right.
even.
Anyway, shall we play an improv game before we get to talking all about Sunshine here?
Wow.
All right, real quick here. Let's play a quickie, shall we? Let's play one word story.
Okay.
I don't even know if we've ever played that game. Have you
I
played
think
this
I
game,
know what
Sunshine?
it is.
So
Didn't
basically,
you say an oldie but goodie?
it's an oldie but goodie.
Okay.
So,
So-
maybe it's so old that
That I don't
we've never
remember it.
played it.
Is
No,
this the one where each person says a word and has to make a sentence?
yes, the key is to go quickly.
Jeez.
We start with a premise or a title of the story or whatever you want to start with. And then we tell a full story to completion, if you will, one word at a time as we go around in a circle until it's clear that the story is done.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave it to Sunshine to pick an activity, any activity in the world, anything. And that's what the story will be about.
Wow. Any activity in the world.
Anything.
It's when the things are so open like this that puts the pressure on you, I think.
That's right. Anything related to animals.
Oh, that's much more specific.
There you go.
All right.
We were bitching about not being specific, so I went right specific.
I like it. Well, it's topical, so why don't we say eating bats?
Eating bats. Fantastic. Going to be the best story ever. All right, Danielle, why don't you start the story off with whatever, and we'll see where we go.
Do we have a title though?
Um,
Do we need a title, or does that come at the end?
That'll come at the end, I guess.
Okay.
So the key is, though, as soon as it comes to you, you got to try to say the next word as fast as you can. And the next
Ready?
person's
Which
gotta
way?
Deal with whatever.
Which way are we going?
Counterclockwise.
Once.
Upon
Time.
There.
was
Girl.
Who.
was
Person.
And.
eating
Bat.
She.
didn't
Like,
Two.
Walk.
upside down
or
Right side up.
One.
morning
at
School.
She.
tossed
a
Bat.
Over.
her
windowsill.
Surprisingly,
A.
custodian
Whose
sister.
Was.
epileptic
and
Narcoleptic.
Was.
eating
a
Sleeping. Adjective.
Oh. Was eating a sleeping bat.
which
was
Delicious.
All.
curing
priests
Believe
That.
eating
bats
is
Healing.
and
good
practice.
Therefore.
curing
all
Coronavirus.
Related.
epilepsy
and
Narcolepsy.
Is.
ending
the
Priesthood.
Especially.
in
the
World.
Today.
the end.
Yeah, very good. All right. Very interesting.
All right,
So
so
bats.
I
It
just
took
want to
some
go back. I
turns.
was trying
Yes.
to say, because you guys had eating bats.
Mm-hmm.
So eating bats is all curing of epilepsy and narcolepsy. I was
Yes.
trying to. Sorry, I'm sorry. I
so of was
realized
the right
I like it though.
That was
Yeah.
good. I like it.
It was like a when something is all curing.
yeah
Yes, I do.
all
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I like it too.
And when you
because-
say it in a sentence like that, it makes total sense. But when
Yeah.
you separate it out,
Yeah.
it's
That's right.
It's hard, and I
so
felt like a lot
disjointed,
of
right?
my
Yeah,
words
yeah.
were the linking words. So I was like, and the. I was just trying to
Right.
do things that made sense.
Now, a good thing to do in this game, by the way, is to have 3 words ready. And then if they don't work, you think of another word. But one of those words might work, and then you have it ready to go.
Yeah,
So you can
kind
tell
of
the
like
story a little
our. We
faster.
played some games like that. Yeah.
That was very good, though. Good job, Sunshine.
I was hoping we could lead it into this little girl was
Yeah,
drinking Corona beer or something like that.
having a
on the-
moment.
recess.
We're
I know.
never gonna know.
She was drinking recess.
Well, there we go. Callback.
There
All right.
we go.
In the interest of time, we're going to move on. But thank you very much. Good. Thanks for playing, Sunshine.
My first
All right.
4 entries were
In a moment, we're going to hear all about
Team player.
Sunshine and everything that he does in his world of storytelling and performance right after this.
Don't give us that look. We know exactly what we're doing. And we're totally aware it might not be legal in 19 states. This is Funny People Talking.
All right, Sunshine. Now it's all about you.
In the hot seat.
All right, so I want to start this out again a little bit. So your name is Katsura Sunshine.
That's right.
You are a Rakugo storyteller.
That's right.
Which is a traditional Japanese comic storyteller.
Yep.
And you have an off-Broadway show, which is on hiatus until June 20th?
June 20th.
Well, that's my birthday.
Oh, is it? No.
I think it's going to be a great reopening for you.
You have to come. I'll sing happy birthday to you
I'll
from
be
the
on my
stage.
honeymoon.
She'll be on her honeymoon.
Oh, you getting married for your birthday?
No, I'll be on my honeymoon.
On your honeymoon.
Yeah, I'm getting married June 5th.
Birthday present?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, I'm going to ask a very obvious question off the bat.
Sure.
Which off the bat.
Right off the bat.
That was callback. That I know you've had before, but for our listeners, I like to clear it up. You do not appear to be what I would generally consider traditionally Japanese.
At least not my face. Right?
And that's what I meant. Physically, as we would think of a traditionally Japanese person.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean someone can't practice and be knowledgeable in Japanese arts and martial arts and culture and all those things. They can also grow up in Japan and they can do all sorts of things. I'm saying is how did this become a part of your life, being so knowledgeable about Japanese comic storytelling?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been asked that a lot.
I bet.
I've never heard someone tiptoe around it so much as that. I guess that's the age.
Why you got blonde hair, man?
You're not. Yeah, why you got blonde hair? Exactly. This is dyed. But
tell us about who you are and
sure. Yeah.
And I imagine that many people, when they come to your show, when you walk out, they think they're going to see somebody else, and then you walk out and it's you.
Yeah.
And
well, that part of it, my picture's on the poster, so that part of it's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they think? I wonder.
Yeah,
But,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I think at first when I was doing it abroad, people see a blonde-haired white guy in a kimono, so they're like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Rakugo is a 400-year tradition of Japanese comic storytelling. The story has been passed down from master to apprentice through the generations up until the present day. And right now, it's maybe more popular in terms of number of storytellers than ever. There's about 800 professional storytellers in Japan.
Cool.
It was traditionally a men's world, but more and more women are joining now. I think there's about 50 or 60 out of the 800, 50 or 60 women, but they've started more recently. So it's more and more. That's going to get more and more equal. Mm-hmm. I'm not the first foreigner, non-Japanese, ever to practice it. I was born in Canada to Slovenian parents.
Okay.
But the first person ever was 100 years ago.
Is that when the art form began?
No, it began more like solidified into an art form more like 300 years ago.
Okay.
The stories began more like 400 or 500 years ago from monks who wanted to spice up their sermons with funny stories. That's where the first pool of stories came from.
Oh, well, good for them for spicing things up. That's exciting. That's a cool origin. Okay.
Well, what I wanted to say,
Yeah.
since you're marrying into a family from a certain country, is that the first one that was not Japanese was from Australia.
Oh, wow.
His name was Henry Black, and his father went to Japan when the son was about 8 years old, to do newspaper work. And then the son learned language and became an apprentice and became the first storyteller in history, not from Japan, from the West.
Okay.
So I'm the second, and there are two more in apprenticeship right now. So I've been doing it for about 13 years right now, so I'd be considered a master.
That's your job. That's your vocation.
That is, it's my vocation and avocation. It's my life. It's everything.
How do you make money? Is it mostly the performing? You perform in different places? Do you teach? Do you how?
That would be performance. Yeah, in Japan, certainly in Japan, and then touring. And the aim of putting it on Broadway or off Broadway was to let Rakugo get a reputation here in the West and
Yes.
turn it into like a commercial show.
So tell us about what Rakugo is like for those who have not experienced. What happens?
Sure. The first, you got a lone storyteller in a kimono and using only a fan and a hand towel for props, kneels on a cushion and tells stories. But the first part is a lot like stand-up comedy. It's just anecdotes, self-deprecating humor, self-introduction, and also humorous. You have to be humorous all the time, but you're explaining points of culture that people will need to know for the story that's going to come up. And often the storytellers are testing out the audience and trying to figure out which story they will like. So you're trying to choose the story to meet the audience while you're talking for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Is it like Cliff Notes in a way of you're giving say cultural cues or Cliff Notes of what the stories will be, and then you're reading them as to which way to go?
The first part could be a note, like a Cliff Note, but you're not actually.
Yeah.
You don't know what part of the story are they. You're just planting the information in the audience's head. Like, here's this quirk of Japanese culture 200 years ago. They used to do this.
Okay.
But you got to make a joke of it. You can't just sit there explaining. There's one thing we're taught in apprenticeship is you always have to be kind of entertaining the audience as you're explaining.
Cool.
Right? But then when the story proper is, there's very little once upon a time. It's all conversations. No narrator. It's just all conversation. And you glean the context of the story from the two characters conversing, three characters conversing, that kind of thing. Now, at some point, that point of culture is going to come up, and so the audience is like, "Oh, that's why you explained that thing to us." Okay, now I get it, right? So there's a little bit of that, and then every story ends in a punchline, as if it were an extended joke. The punchline is really important. If you don't know the punchline, you may have wasted 45 minutes listening to the entire performance.
Wow. Right? Wow. And so are there just books and books and books and scripts and scripts and scripts from hundreds of years that you pull from? Or is it evolving?
It's both, but there's no books. It's actually an oral tradition. So you learn by listening to your master and imitating.
So cool.
And you have to do the story exactly like your master does until they say, okay. And once they say, okay, that's your story, then you can do what you want with it. Then you can make it your own. You can change it. You can, if you want to. A lot of people usually the masters do it so well, it's pretty tough to change, but you can change it and make it your own and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm mildly obsessed with this now.
I love it. Yeah.
This is really, really cool. I won't be here for the opening, but I will definitely be going to that in the summer. So I love this oral aspect of everything. Have you ever had to memorize a script?
For like a play or something
for
like
a play.
Sure, yeah.
So do you find that the oral storytelling and learning that way is much more conducive for how you like to perform versus say a script?
Oh yeah, I love it. Like there's a couple. The show's run up until now. We're in the 7th month.
Got it.
And we're taking obviously.
You're taking a hiatus. Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
But for the first 6 months, I did a different show every month, and after like 4 months, I'd run out of stories that I really wanted to tell. So I translated some new ones.
So cool.
From my master, but I'd heard my master do them so many times that translating them was. I wasn't even looking at a script or anything.
Yeah.
I was going through the Japanese performance in my head.
Yes.
How my master did it, is the English just kind of came out. It wasn't even near what I typed out. So it solidifies. So you're generally not improvising, but the first time you do a story, it is a little bit improvised. You kind of have the through line of the story, and you know where the punchlines are, and then you just kind of go with it. So that's kind of exciting.
Is there like a school, more or less?
No, what it is all apprenticeship. There's no schools.
Apprenticeship.
You have to be accepted by a master.
Okay.
And I went to my master's house every day for 3 years. No
and
days
now you're
off.
a master.
Yeah, you do laundry, you do the cleaning, do menial chores, basically indentured servitude. The master gets mad at you every day, never compliments you.
Wow.
I got one compliment from my master in 3 years of apprenticeship. Wow. I translated one of his stories into English and recited it for him because he wanted to hear what it would sound like in English. He was curious. And I recited it. He listened to the end, which is strange because usually he'd interrupt and say, okay, you need to do it this way and that way and give you notes. And listen to the end and looked me in the eyes and said, you have really nice English pronunciation.
Wow.
My lone compliment in 3 years.
Wow. Elsie, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question.
I can tell.
So when you're doing the performance, I don't even know how to ask this question. Is there a big difference between if it's an intimate audience and a large audience? I mean, how do you interact differently, or how does it affect the storytelling?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's just I think any comedian would be the same in that if it's a smaller audience, even if they're laughing, that the laughter kind of tends to die down much more quickly. And so if you're in a place with 1,500 people, you're not prepared for the wave of laughter that's coming in. So there's a lot more space in between your
So you just have to prepare
jokes
for whatever.
and that kind of thing. Yeah. Now, if it's a solo show, like what I'm doing on Broadway right now, or off Broadway right now, is my own show, so it doesn't really matter. However, usually in Japan, it'd be a lineup, like comedians, right?
Yeah,
You've got the lineup, maybe 4 or 5 people over the space of an hour and a half, 2 hours, or something like that.
Right.
It's very hierarchical in Japan, so you can't go over time. If you're given 10 minutes, you do not want to be going even a second over time. You're always thinking of the next person and making sure that there's enough time for them, because the headliner is the most important person. The headliner is the most senior person of the day. Usually, that's the master. And a lot of younger storytellers have a lot of trouble performing for my master, because he's a very famous television personality for the last 50 years.
Okay.
So he's performing in these 1,500, 2,000 seat halls. And most of us are performing in 200 seat halls. That's the normal Rakugo size, right? When they go to perform as an opener for my master, what they know in their blood to be a 12-minute story was suddenly 18 minutes. And it's very hard to cut on the fly. They just had no idea that the laughter in a 1,500 seat theater was going to take so long to keep going. And they were funny. And at the end of it, they end up going straight to my master's dressing room and prostrating themselves on it and say, "I'm sorry, I was too long," right? And he understands. It's like, no, if you're not used to this size theater, it happens. Wow. It's very nice, but it's terrifying because he's very senior, right? It's very terrifying for them. So that's to your point. That would definitely change the dynamic in a really important way if you're some sort of low on the totem pole and you have to make sure your time is okay.
And for the space at New World Stages, how big is that?
That's my space.
Which one
There's 5 different spaces in there.
Yeah, so
and
which one are you in?
The one I'm in is a 350
Oh,
seat
perfect.
theater. Yeah, it's perfect. For Rakugo, it's like it was built for Rakugo.
Oh, that is so cool.
I want to ask you about, quote, Japanese humor versus like how clearly there's humor that works in almost all cultures in the world.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that are going to work.
Yeah.
Physical humor and stuff like that. But certainly from culture to culture, contexts are different.
Yeah, you're so right.
And so my question is how do you make sure to connect with, let's say, an American audience?
Yeah.
Using a Japanese art form.
Yeah.
Staying true to the Japanese art form while connecting with how Americans might approach humor a little differently. Because even American versus British humor is a little different.
Yeah.
How do you
Absolutely.
think about that?
As a Canadian, when I was living in London for a couple of years.
And being a Canadian on top of that.
Yeah, on top of that, right? Well, we're kind of straddling
Yeah.
the UK and the US. I think the comedy you do and the comedy you appreciate are 2 different things. However,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. However, I would say, like, as a Canadian in London, when I went to see stand-up comedians in London, 1/3, even though it's the same English language, 1/3 of what they were saying, I had no idea what was funny about it. And my British friends would say, "Oh, well, you would have to know this textbook that was in our whatever grade 2 something classes, and then he's referring to that TV show that was, you'd have to be basically brought up here." And those comedians would get rid of that humor the second they leave London, right? Then when they come to the States and perform, they know that stuff's not going to work.
Right.
So there's the barrier there is not even, there's not even a language barrier, right? That's completely a contextual barrier, as you say. Now, the flip side of the coin is Rakugo, storytelling. It's very rare to have a humoristic storytelling tradition that could be translated and cross borders and languages and cultures like this. It is completely universal. I'm not touching it. Except for translate, I'm not touching it. And I think the reason why you're able to do this is because the stories originated 300 years ago. And 300 years ago, Japan was very different than it was today. These are very simple stories of just basic human relationships and that kind of thing that have transcended the ages, and so therefore very easy to translate and kind of work for him. Why don't I do a 15-second story? You'll see how it works.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
Hold on, wait.
Is it okay with you if I videotape
this?
this?
Okay, this is a famous one. Oh, I'm
This
excited.
is a very short one. It's maybe one of the shortest Rakugo stories on record. This is two ladies in old Edo, Japan, gossiping in the neighborhood in front of the house. Did you hear? Mrs. Takahashi down the street fell down on her face, and her face became completely disfigured. Oh, really? That's too bad, yes. But the doctor is amazing. He managed to put her face right back to the way it was before. Oh, really? That's too bad.
So I have a question about that. That was very funny and well done. And to me,
Yeah.
that sounds like almost vaudeville stand up.
That's, yeah. bang on.
You know, it's like
Timeless.
timeless. It's I'm trying to think
fun.
who's the
I'm
who's the
thinking
guy
of, like,
who's the
Paula
guy that
Poundstone.
who's the Jewish guy that's
George Carlin?
no we had his daughter in here.
Yeah.
His daughter was here.
Jackie Mason.
So to me, that sounds like a Jackie Mason
I've
thing.
heard
Like
that comparison
da-da-da-da-da. Joke told.
Yeah,
Next
yeah,
joke. Da-da-da-da-da. You know, I'm saying it was that
Paula
same like
Poundstone does that too.
yeah. It's
She
it's
churns
it's
them out.
classic. I'm not diminishing it to be clear here, Sunshine, but I'm saying
no.
it's
no.
classic.
I've heard those comparisons before.
Set up, turn,
Now, when the story,
surprise.
yeah, exactly. Now, when that's a very, very short story. When that story is extended to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the punchline comes. Then I have a lot of people saying that's a lot like the Jewish shaggy dog stories. That gets compared to that a lot by my patrons after the show. So, but that comparison that you just made, a lot of people have said that too as well. It's very, very simple. It's very clean humor.
Yeah.
Like people bring their families to Rakugo
that's
shows in Japan.
great.
Yeah. It's very.
So are there certain markers you have to sort of hit that keep it traditional?
Yeah. There's a lot of rules. For instance, when I'm looking left and when I'm looking right, there are a lot of rules even with that. Whether the speaker is hierarchically higher or lower in status, or if you're knocking on the door, there's a lot of scenes where someone knocks on the door and says, "Hello, anybody home?" I said, "Oh, it's you. Come on in, right?" You always look left when you're knocking on the door. You always look right when you're opening the door and welcoming your guest in. And this goes back to the shape of a Japanese traditional kabuki theater, where they have what's called the flower road, the hanamichi, the flower road, which comes from stage right or the left part of the audience, and it so comes out to the stage from that direction. So to be opening the door, the traveler's always coming from there. So to be opening the door on the opposite side of the stage would just feel weird to Japanese audiences. Even though our theaters don't have that, we retain those rules. There's tons of rules. But all the rules are very complicated for the storyteller to remember.
Right.
But they're the absolute final goal of each and every one of these rules is to make it easy to understand for the audience. And it's absolutely, there's not one rule that doesn't make sense in terms of, because it's one performer playing two characters or three characters.
Yes.
It's got to be simple and very easy for the audience to understand, so that the humor comes out, so that they're not thinking and
specific
missing the
each
joke.
time.
Yeah.
How can people follow you, connect with you, check out your show?
Yeah. Thank you very much. My website is Rakugo, Rakugo, Rakugo.lol. I was shocked when Laugh Out Loud was
we
an
gotta
actual.
get funny people talking LOL.
Yeah, you guys get LOL. Yeah, I want to spread that one out more.
All
yeah.
right. Maybe it stands for lots of love. I don't know, but
And I have a YouTube channel, which now that
Yes.
we're trapped with the
yeah.
we're trapped inside with the coronavirus, I'm going to be doing a lot of
Good.
live. What do you call podcasts?
Well,
and,
whatever. Video.
Yeah, you can do
video
live
videos.
streaming.
Yeah,
live streaming,
Fantastic.
and, in Japanese and in English, and that'll be Katsura Sunshine's quarantine Rakugo or something.
Oh, there you go.
But it's the name of the YouTube channel is Katsura Sunshine in New York.
All right.
Okay.
Katsura Sunshine,
In New York.
a Rakugo. Did I say that right?
That's it. Yeah, you got it.
A Rakugo storyteller go check out his show, follow his adventures on YouTube. I hope that you get a chance. His energy is amazing. I can't wait to come see you in a theater and check it out. That's going to be really cool. Thank you very much for sharing some of your story with us. I wish we had 5 hours right here with us.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're not done yet because coming up in just a moment, it's end of show food.
We're eating some food. Yeah, no. I'm
Right
done.
after
Food.
this.
Connect with the show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. And please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the show and leave us a damn review and a really, really good rating on iTunes. Pretty please? Thank you.
It is time for End of Show Food. Our very first End of Show Food for 2020.
Food is different in 2020.
It is. I know. We've heard that, Danielle. Elsie, what in the world did you get?
And where from the world?
So, this is from Spain.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah. So, what I have today is Snack Gold raspberry potato chips.
Oh my gosh, I
Wow,
am
really?
so
From Spain.
pumped.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different, right?
wow. Here, can
least
you
I've
give me
never-
a...
Spain does that. Does this? I remember at a tapas restaurant in Toronto, they had spicy chocolate covered shrimp.
Whoa.
And when that's on the menu, you gotta have it. You might not
How
like
was it?
but you
How
gotta.
was it?
It was incredible. It was incredible. They had like cayenne pepper in the chocolate sauce over shrimp. And
I
it-
want
That's kind
that.
of like mole
incredible.
and Mexican
Yeah,
food.
I
It's
want
got the
that.
cocoa in it, right?
I want to be there.
Can't even open this.
All right,
want to
let me
go
tell
to
you
there.
let me tell you the rules of End of Show Food, just so you know what she's opening this.
Oh, I got
so she's going to give us each a little bit. You can't eat it till she says go.
Okay, gotcha.
Then when
Got
you
it.
taste it,
smells
you make a decision about how you feel about it, and you give it a rating when we go around the room of the number of chickens. Your rating system is a chicken rating system.
Okay.
So it might be 541 chickens. Out of 600 chickens, you can decide how
choose the
many.
number?
You can choose your own number.
Okay, I choose the maximum number, and I
that's-
choose the number within that maximum number.
That's right. So
I
it's
choose
totally
the
up to you.
ratio.
Yeah, you could have out of 8 chickens or
It
out of
tastes
9
like-
million
right?
chickens
It
or
tastes like
whatever you want.
raspberry chocolate.
That's it. So, and just be candid. So, we all have our. Now, I will say
I want
these
you
look
to
like
smell 'em.
these are just regular
them.
looking chips.
Smell them. Smell them.
Interesting.
To me, it smells like raspberry chocolate.
I would
They look like
never
sweet,
guess
right?
raspberry if you hadn't told me.
No,
There's
they look like-
way I can-
Don't they look like they should be like barbecue chips or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Is it
look like
kinda
straight
little
up
reddish
Lay's.
to them?
Okay,
So ready,
Elsie,
1, 2,
ready?
3, go.
1, 2, 3, go.
Very raspberry.
They're,
Wow.
they're pleasant.
Oh,
That's how they are. They're pleasant. That's my decision.
I like it.
I could eat more of these.
Yeah.
Are they a dessert?
no.
Are they a snack?
Yes.
Would these go with your drink?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. This with a recess, done.
Whoa.
Done for the night.
Especially for the munchies.
Oh, my God. You're not going to get much.
You want more?
Oh, my
right.
God.
So let's go around the room here.
I
First of
want to
all,
look at this.
they're very interesting. There's just the tiniest raspberry flavor.
Yeah.
Sabor.
It's subtle, right? But it's there.
Sabor from frambuesa.
Ah, okay.
Raspberry flavor.
So what do you think there, Sunshine?
Yeah.
How many chickens you give this one?
I'm gonna give it 5.5 chickens
5.5 chickens out
out of
of.
a possible 6.
Ooh, that's
that's
fairly
good.
strong. What
They're
would
really,
be
really
the
good.
demerit for? Why the reduction from a perfect 6?
You know what you just said, where it was very, very subtle.
Yeah.
Mm.
You expected a stronger.
Well, I'm glad it was subtle.
Oh yeah.
But I would have, but on the other hand, I would demerit it for being a little too subtle. There's no way in 100 years I would guess I was eating raspberry flavor.
Yeah.
Had you not told me beforehand.
I
showed me
kind
the
of agree with
package.
that.
Yeah, I'd like a little for
Amp
that
it up.
0.5 of a chicken. I would want a little bit more raspberry
Okay.
kick, but I don't want you to go too far on that.
Right.
I like it. I like it a lot. I can eat
Very,
that.
very good. Elsie?
I'm reading the ingredients.
All right, let's go to Danielle. How many chickens?
Perfect score.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Gonna give it a 90,000 out of 90,000 chickens.
Danielle liked this one.
Love this as a weird
Yeah.
snack that I don't understand.
Sadly, you get them from Spain, not around here.
Well, guess what? My aunt and
Hello.
uncle live in Spain.
Of course
Gonna
they
give
do.
them a call.
Connections all over.
I know. That's my actual aunt and uncle. I know.
And I give this I'm going to give it a 21 out of 23.
Oh, nice.
Kind of along the same reasoning as Sunshine. What about you, Elsie?
I would say 72 out of 72. I liked them.
Were
They're
you looking at the
crunchy,
naturalness
they're
of it? Is that
yummy.
what you were looking at?
No, I just wanted to see what kind of raspberries or raspberry flavoring fell into the list.
right.
Because you know how they say whatever's listed first is the most, and as it goes down, it diminishes, and how much is really in there and stuff. So I just want to see.
Are
And
there actual raspberries in the
it says raspberry flavoring. Yeah.
Well,
flavor? So
So yeah, the ingredients: potato, sunflower oil, Mediterranean sea salt, and raspberry flavoring.
that's
All right.
very natural.
Right?
yeah,
That's
very
it.
good.
That's
all
all.
right. Well, Elsie, well done. A great food
Thank you
to
very
start. Well picked.
Snaps.
Thank you.
Or as they say in Japanese, gochusou
Yay!
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Elsie. Great way to finish our first time back together for a while. Thank you so much, Sunshine. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
us.
you. Thank you for
really
having me.
great to meet
Yeah.
you.
Cheers.
You're
Looking
hilarious.
forward to your
show, yeah,
Yes,
when you have a chance. Yeah,
Looking
love to have
forward
you.
to it.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
Cheers.
Danielle, thank you as always.
Good. Thank you for having me again.
And thank you all for listening and joining us once again. We really appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Mark Rako. And oh, by the way, would you stay funny?
That's it? That's the end of the show? Boy, oh boy, what a crock. This was Funny People Talking. No portion of the content may be reproduced or published without the strict written permission of the producers. Connect with our show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. I'm your announcer, Peter Coleman. Thanks for listening.
This is Mouth Media Network. Amplify and connect.